Hong Kong, China 26.6 million tourists. Hong Kong is the most visited city in the world in 2023. The city is located in southeastern China. However, it is considered a separate economic zone. Hong Kong is breathtaking. It is truly a fairy tale city and a dream city. The Point was one of the poorest regions in China. Only 3,000 people lived on it, who were mainly engaged in fishing and farming. During the First Opium Conflict, Hong Kong was occupied by the British, who retained control over it right up to 1997. The British quickly realized the incredibly convenient location. Hong Kong for trade? Judge for yourself. From one side, geographical proximity with all countries of Southeast Asia. On the other, there is direct water access to Japan and nearby island states. 50s in a developing port city. Poured in crowds grand. Many went to Hong Kong in search of a better life. After all, not everyone wanted to work for the benefit of communist China. During realizing the potential of the territory of a large Chinese company, Shanghai moved to a freer, promising Hong Kong, after which a real economic boom began in the city. In just 20 years, Hong Kong's GDP increased by 35%. Such a sharp jump in the economy. This has never happened before in history. At the same time, the city itself has grown significantly, which included near the adjacent village. And if in 1990 the population of Hong Kong was about 5 million people, now this figure has almost doubled. The city is still developing at a crazy pace, despite that in 1997 Britain returned Hong Kong to China. By bilateral agreement, Hong Kong was recognized as a territory outside the country's communist system. English language retained its official status along with Chinese. About the company we have been granted by the enterprise. Complete freedom within the framework of entrepreneurial activity and taxation. As a result, for the 2023 year, we get a picture. Where are the top 10 largest and richest Chinese companies? Almost half have their headquarters in Hong Kong, for example. T-Mobile and Hey groups. Hong Kong is now in the minds of many Western experts considered a separate country. Judge for yourself, your government, your flag, your laws and rules. Thanks to economic growth, many ordinary Chinese dream of living in Hong Kong, among the luxury of huge skyscrapers, harmoniously adjacent verses, and evergreen parks. True? Among all the advantages of Hong Kong, there is one very big one. But all this is incredibly expensive. That Dubai will seem like an ordinary provincial town to you, with quite reasonable prices. Let's talk about everything in order. You 100% need your own apartment. Apartments in good condition in a new building, with an area of approx. 30 square m will cost you approximately 2 million. No rubles. And not even Chinese yuan, about $2 million US. You will have to spend on the most modest apartment. After all, it's only 1 square m. Housing in Hong Kong for 2023 is about $1.5 million versus $750,000 in Dubai. Of course, you can try to rent an apartment, but this task will not be easy. Rent of apartments with an area of 20 square m. Close to the center of Hong Kong will cost you only $400,000 per month, but 40 square meters will cost $590,000. Like you probably could have guessed, Hong Kong is the most unaffordable place to live. Because of this, that only a small percentage of the world's population can afford to live in this city. To live and not just exist. And there are often those in Hong Kong who come there in search of a dream, without having large financial savings behind you. In this case, they will have to settle in poor areas, with huge apartment buildings. Where are the apartments of 40 square m, divided into 40 tiny rooms with 1 bed and 1 window? In some of these rooms, the beds are arranged in 2 tiers. However, in this case, you will not be able to sit on the bed, since the ceilings in such apartments are usually no more than 195 cm, as Hong Kong residents say. In these brick coffins, the most vulnerable segments of the population live: pensioners, migrants, and marginalized individuals who somehow need to survive in this concrete jungle. This accommodation for 40 people usually has 2 toilets and 2 sinks. You can cook food only in your own corner, where almost nothing fits besides a sleeping place. Unsanitary conditions everywhere, as a result of lice, disgusting odors, and other related. And how much does it cost to rent such a communal apartment? Sell on the first tier $55,000, on the second $45,000. What if you don't want to live anywhere, except for the rather wide and coastal area of Hong Kong? Be ready that in areas with access to the sea, only luxury housing is sold, the cost of which is measured at $1 million. And there are quite a lot of millionaires here. Every 7th Hong Kong resident is a millionaire. That's why, for millionaires, it has its own infrastructure. Shopping centers with wild prices, street of brand boutiques, restaurants with high checks, catalysts at the races for those who are particularly adventurous, lowest wages in the city for unskilled workers, office worker to 100, finders 300 for $150,000. Top-level specialists have an income of $150,000, but doctors are valued much more highly because their average monthly salary is approximately to $230,000 per month. A resonant question arises: how to live, or rather survive, in the city of a millionaire? First option, come to Hong Kong with a huge wad of money or unlimited. Card 2, come to terms with. After all, this situation suits most of the local residents. For example, a carton of milk costs about $5, and a loaf of bread is $2. Cheapest meat $95, and the cheese is $1.95. There's no need to talk about fruits and cereals, since as of 2023, a resonant question arises: why live in Hong Kong if everything is so expensive there? For ordinary residents, prices within the city of the state are quite acceptable because the salary level allows. Live at a pretty high standard. It will be hard for a visiting immigrant because fares, communications, other services in Hong Kong 2 or even 3 times higher than in Dubai. In addition to high prices and tall skyscrapers, Hong Kong has a high level of security. According to the global safety rating among all countries, Hong Kong took 5th place with indicators security level 80.6%, and crime rate 19.3%. Despite that this is a huge metropolis, it is safe both day and night, which allows you to comfortably walk even in the most remote and dark corners. Hong Kong alone, I can list the advantages of this country for a long time. But what is this for? It's clear from this that Hong Kong is a unique phenomenon in the modern world. Huge, beautiful, and a secure financial center in the heart of Asia, which has absorbed all the best.
What is there in Europe and America?
The concluded agreement with Britain is valid until 2037. Therefore, in the future we will see its historical extension.